Hi, this is video number 3 in a series of videos where we're making a tank battle game in Unity for Android mobile devices. In the previous video we set up our colliders on our tank in the correct positions and gave them the correct tags. Good. In this video we're going to start to enable our tank to move around, and in particular we're going to be focusing on forwards and backwards, or forwards and reverse. Okay, and in the next video we'll do left and right. Okay, now first thing we're going to need is some way to control this tank, and in this example we're going to use on-screen buttons. Okay, so we need a canvas to put the buttons on. So you can go create UI canvas, okay, and you'll get a canvas and an event system. Check here on the canvas scaler. You should put this on scale with screen size, okay, so that it scales everything on the UI on this screen. This canvas that we've made will scale depending on the size of the screen. And also here the reference resolution, you can put that to 800 and 480, okay, which refers to this 800 and 480 over here. Good. So now you have a canvas. What we need to do is put some buttons on this canvas to control this tank. So right click on the canvas, UI and button, and we'll reset the button and we'll make it 50 by 50, and we'll call it button forward. Okay, and the text we can put F forward. And here we'll just go overflow, and there's our first button. Okay, now this button needs to, when we click this button, it needs to do something. But we're going to use this button slightly differently. What we're going to do is we're going to say add component event trigger. Okay, we want an event trigger, and we're going to add a new event, and it says pointer down. Alright, so that means that when we press this button down, when the pointer's down, it will do something. And then here we're going to say the opposite of that, which is pointer up. So we have two events. When we press the button down, it'll do one thing, and when we release the button, it'll do something else. Okay, good. So let's move this button into the corner of the screen. So I've got Shift Alt bottom left corner, and then we can start to duplicate these 3 times. So forward, back, or reverse, left, and right. Okay, let's put them in the correct positions. So forward will be X50, Y100. Back is just 50, X left, Y50, right 100, and Y50. Okay, good. And let's name them accordingly. B, L, and R. Okay, so we've got 4 buttons which are going to move the vehicle tank forward, back, left and right. Okay, now you could use a an on-screen joystick with this or some other mechanism, but we've decided that for this game we're going to use buttons instead. So what we need to do is we need to get these buttons to work, and in order to do that we're going to need a script, and the script is going to connect these buttons to this tank. Okay, so what we're going to do is create new C script, okay, and call it player tank drive, okay, or something similar that's obviously clearly says that you're in control of the tank. Right, player tank drive's fine. Good. So let's have a look at this script. Now you can take a screenshot. Okay, and I'll explain what's happening here. Now this script only deals at the moment with forwards and back, and in the next video we're going to deal with left and right. Okay, so let's have a look at this here. If we attach this script to our tank here, you can see that we have here a public value called speed, okay, and this speed corresponds to this here. So we can change this value in the editor, we can change the speed of this vehicle in the editor. Okay, here we're going to create a rigid body called RB tank because we want to get hold of this rigid body at the start of the game in a wake. Okay, we want to get hold of this rigid body because we're going to use that. And here I have a public static float called forward back. It's a float, okay, it's a number, and I've made it public and static so as we can access this number later on in the game, because we might want to know whether the vehicle's moving forwards or backwards, and if it is, then maybe we can do something else at the same time. Alright, so public static float forward back, got to ball here, true or false, set it forward to false, and ball back is also set to false. Good. So in a wake, okay, we are going to get this rigid body here, okay, and then we're going to make two functions, okay, public functions. This forward is what this F button's going to be joined to, and this back function is going to be joined to this button. Okay, now it says here when we press the forward button it sets the ball forward to true, and if we press that one it'll set that one to true. Now if they're both pressed true at the same time, it means the vehicle will try and go forwards and backwards and it won't actually move. So we need to get around that, and we do by using another public function called switch balls off. Okay, so forward is equal to false and back is equal to false. Now if we go back to our buttons here, we have these event triggers. Yeah, we didn't use the on click, we use these event triggers. Okay, so on pointer down, okay, which means when we press this, okay, this here, we press this one down, okay, it's going to make this ball true. But when we release the button, okay, which is pointer up, okay, then we're going to join it to this one, which is going to set it to false. All right, great. So that's why we use these two event triggers. One of them's joined to this one, sets it to true, and it joins the other one joins this, which sets it to false. Right, so we never end up in a situation where it's going to try and go forwards and backwards at the same time, which means it actually doesn't move anywhere. Okay, good. So next thing we need to do is we'll come down here, and we've got in our update. Okay, this is where it gets a little bit more interesting, so to speak. In update, we've got this this value forward back, okay, and we need to give it a value. All right, and we're going to do this in two ways. First of all, we're going to enable us to to control it using the keyboard, because that's handy for us when we're developing games, to be able to control things using the keyboard. So what I've said here is forward back, the value of forward back, okay, is equal to input get axis vertical times the speed times time delta time. Okay, so let's have a look at this. Input get axis vertical. Well, this corresponds to this. If you go edit, project settings, input, okay, you'll see these here. Okay, and you've got horizontal, and this one here is horizontal. You've got left, right, A, key A and D, right? So on your keyboard, A and D, horizontal, and vertical is like S and W, okay, or the up and down. All right. So what we're doing is we're basically going to be using this horizontal and vertical, or referencing them, so that we can control the game using these buttons on the screen, okay, and also on a keyboard to make it easier when we're developing it. Okay. Also to note down here, you've got like fire 1. These are used normally like for your guns and things. Mouse, if you're using the mouse here. Okay, there's another horizontal and vertical. Okay, like you can use those, and so on. All right, I'm not going to go into that, but basically you've got horizontal and vertical. Okay, and if you wanted to, control this game using like a game controller or something, then you could make additional ones and so on. Right, so this here, this vertical, refers to this. All right, good. So next thing we need to do, come out of there now. If it says here, if, all right, now say for example this, because this will enable us to control it with the keyboard, all right, forward and reverse with the keyboard. But if we're actually using the on-screen thing, like i.e. if we've pressed forward, and if forward's true, yeah, then we're going to set its value to -1, okay, which means like full power, yeah, -1, because the value runs from 0 to 1, or 0 to like -1, okay. So that's like if forward is true, it's going to go full power forwards, and if back is true, it's going to go full power back, okay, backwards in reverse. All right. So this little bit here basically says, okay, yeah, you can use your keyboard if you want, but if you do decide to press these on screen, these buttons which are connected to these, then these will override this value, okay, because it comes further down in the script. Okay. So let's say here, for example, right, here we have, for example, here in here, fixed update means that because we're using physics, okay, and we have on our tank a rigid body, okay, using gravity, we're using the Unity physics engine, right? So we want to, when we're using physics, we want to be using fixed update. Right, this is in update. Okay, so we're just grabbing some values and stuff kind of in update, no problem. But because we're using something that's got a rigid body attached to it, and we're using the physics engine of the Unity, okay, we're going to put this in fixed update. So we're going to run this function here called tank forward back in fixed update. Good. And what does this do? Well, quite simply, what it does is it creates a vector 3, like a position, called move FB, like forward back, and transform forward times forward back, and this forward back is coming from either coming from the keyboard or from us pressing the key on the screen, times the speed, which we've set up here, or we can set in the editor, times delta time. And then what it does is it moves the rigid body, this RB tank here, it moves it to whatever position it is in, plus the move FB, so it moves it basically to its new position. Alright, so what all that means is that if this is false, or this is false, and there's no value coming from the keyboard, i.e. is 0, then this tank's not going to move. But it will move if forward is true, or back is true, or there's a value coming from the keyboard. Alright, okay, good. So that's all that does, really. Okay, it moves it forwards and backwards, and when we move it left and right, okay, we're going to also use this script. We're just going to expand it a little bit more, okay, but we'll do that in the next video. So file save, just to make sure we haven't missed that. Okay, and now we've got our tank. Now we need to join our buttons up to this script. Now this script is attached to the tank, so we need to get to that script. So here we've got these event trigger plus, drag our tank in there because that's where the script is. Looked for our script called player tank drive, and this is the forward button, so here we're going to join it to forward. So when we press the button down, we're going to set forward, ball forward to true. But when we let go of it, we're going to set it to, we're going to turn the ball off. Okay, so I'm going to set it to false. Switch balls off. Okay, and we do that with the back as well. Plus, put your tank in there where the script is. Function, player tank, and this one is the back. And then when we take our finger off of the button on the screen, or we no longer press the button, the key on the keyboard, and set it to false. Alright, these two, leave these for now. Okay, we'll do those in the next video. So let's see if this works. So save the scene, and we're going to test firstly if the buttons on the screen work, and secondly if our keyboard works. Okay, so let's hit play and see what happens. So let's start off on the screen. Press forward. Okay. Okay, back. Hold on, I've got to wait for that to update. Right, okay, hold up a sec. There we go. Right, there we go. Right, so it just has to update sometimes on Mono Develop. If you make changes to the script, it has to update, right? Just give it time. Okay, so right, so here you go. Right, so this works. So the tank, press forward, tank's moving forwards, press back, tank's moving back. Good. Right, so let's see if it works with the keyboard. So get your keyboard. W, yeah, makes it go forwards, and S makes it move backwards. So that now is working fine. We can go right away backwards. Let's see what's going on. Okay, it's got, yep, it's going up. Oh, great. Okay, so let's have a look at this. This is where things kind of get a little bit more interesting, all right? Because we're able to move our tank around a little bit more. So let's just have a quick look at its behavior. Okay, so forwards, here, click the screen. Okay, yeah, okay, so that's what we kind of expect. You see how like the physics engine is working on that rigid body, so like when a tank goes over an edge like that, it would kind of, its movement is quite realistic. Now, as I said in the previous video, this tank is going to have fixed wheels and track. Okay, but if you had a model which had all the flexible or moving suspension and wheels and track, you know, that would look really good over there. But we're building for mobile, and it's not going to be essential that we see that, and in some cases you're not even going to see the trucks at all. Okay, so however, the movement is what we would expect. Okay, great. So let's just have a look how it goes forwards. Okay, so going forwards, just make sure it goes over this hill properly. Let's have a look. Okay, so I'll use that on the screen. Yep. Okay, good. You see that? That's great. Okay, so we've got our tank moving forwards and backwards. Okay, and we can see that, yeah, it's kind of what we'd expect from a tank. All right, good. So yeah, thanks for watching. In the next video, what we're going to do is make this tank be able to move left and right. Okay, great. Thanks for watching. Hope you learned something. Please subscribe to the channel and give a thumbs up if you like the video, and see you in the next video.